there, I'm Hillary, and this is part 8 in our series on building a wood-framed raised bed garden. This is part 2 of our drip irrigation installation, and in this video, we actually install the drip lines, and in this case, they're drip tape.
All right, now it's time to finish up the drip irrigation system. Every bed has mainline tubing run across the short end. All we have to do is poke holes and connect our drip lines so that the bed can get irrigated. The type of drip line we're using today is called a drip tape. Specifically, this is 15 mil high flow drip tape. And drip tape is nice because it has emitters that are spaced every 6, 9, or 12 inches, and they're called pressure compensating emitters. And pressure compensation is really important because that means every bed in your garden will get the same amount of water. So what happens is the drip system fills up with water, and all of the emitters in every tape in every bed drip at the exact same rate. Some drip lines don't have pressure compensation, which means the beds closest to the spigot or the water source are going to get a lot more water than the beds farthest away from the water source. So you get really uneven watering in the garden. Okay, so I'm going to install 4 drip lines in this bed, spaced evenly across the bed, and they're spaced that way because what is supposed to happen is the drip comes out slowly and saturates the soil so that each radius touches the next circle next to it, and the entire surface of the bed gets watered evenly. To connect the tapes, I'm going to use these pieces. This is called a tape lock, and you'll see that this tape lock has a valve on it. It's not necessary to get the valved tape locks, but this gives you the most control over your irrigation. So if you ever want to turn off water to a part of the bed or certain beds in your garden, you can just go flip all of these valves. Another way to gate the water in your garden is to install a valve in the main line tubing itself. So you can install a valve in the main line of each garden and turn that on and off, but this gives you even more precise control. So all I need to do is poke holes in my main line and attach this to my drip. Okay, so to get the tape spaced evenly, I'm going to put the first tape 6 inches from the edge of the bed. The next tape will be 12 inches from that. The third tape will be another 12 inches, and then the last tape will be 6 inches from the far end. That should get them spaced evenly in the bed. You can eyeball it or use your tape. I like to just mark with a piece of chalk on my main line so I can see where each hole is going to get punched. So now all I need to do is use a tool like this, conveniently called a hole punch, to punch holes in the main line, and then I poke these in. This is a set of goof plugs. So if you ever put a hole in the wrong place or need to move something, you should get a set of these and you just pop it right into a hole that you make on accident. Hopefully I'm not going to make any accidental holes. When you poke the hole in, you'll hear a popping sound when it goes through the wall of the tube. You should hear another popping sound when your fitting goes in. Okay, I've got all my tape locks in place. I'm going to pin this header back down, my main line tubing. Okay, so I've got all my tape locks in. I put this rock on the header because it still hasn't settled into place. That shouldn't be an issue once I run water in the system, but it's just going to help me keep things in place for now. The only thing I need to do is attach my drip line to the end of each of these. So kind of just like the mainline fittings, you push it on and tighten it down. We're going to go back down and tighten that a little further, but first I'm going to just get it on, run it to the end of the bed, and then snip it at the end of the bed, and repeat. Now ideally you won't be cutting in a place where you have an emitter that's trying to fit right into your tape lock. So keep an eye when you're starting to cut your tape that you're not cutting right through one of your emitters, which you'll be able to see when you look up close at it. You'll see a little hole and it'll be a lot more rigid in your drip line. All right, now the next step is to take 2 pairs of pliers, hold your tape lock, and just do a quarter turn, and that prevents a lot of water from dripping out at that connection. You don't want to twist too far or you can break the tape lock, but just a quarter turn makes a big difference. Stops it from leaking. All right, so this bed is mostly done. I'm going to repeat that process in my second bed, and then we're going to run water through the system to flush all the lines out before we seal up the ends of these drip tapes. So my spigot's on. This valve of my Y is turned off. This needs to be turned on. So now my timer is holding the water back. So if I turn my timer on, it'll let water into the system and I can run it manually to flush water and soil out of the drip tapes. You should hear a click like that and you should know that water's running. And you can just go through your whole system and check everything for leaks. All right, so I'm just gonna walk through. I haven't buried any of my mainline tubing yet, so I'm just gonna watch everything for leaks, walk through the whole system, and then this is what I wanna see happening, is that my drip tapes are starting to drip. And this is gonna push all the dirt out that I got in there when I was putting everything together. So you want to see water coming out of the end of every drip tape. And after you run it for a couple minutes, you can turn the system back off, close up these ends, and you'll be all done. All right, now that we've flushed out the system, we're going to put on a cap to the end of each drip tape. This is called a grip sleeve. You want to put the narrow end on your tape, like so, and you fold up the tape 2 or 3 times and then push the wide end back over it. It's nice to use a couple landscaping pins in each tape, hold them in place and make sure they don't fly around in the wind. I like to put one at the end and one in the middle of the tape. And that one's all done. Okay, so you can see the drip tapes are working. It's dripping out of each emitter, just like that. And this is a little counterintuitive, but you want to make sure when you're using drip tapes that the emitters face up. And they're designed to work that way so they're less likely to get clogged. So the water just runs off the side of the top of the tape and down. These ones you can tell easily which side is up because it has this blue lines. showing you the side of the irrigation.